We're gonna get started here in just a second. Hope everybody can hear me. If not, let me know. So let's go ahead and kick this off the right way. It's Thursday. Excuse me. We got I think someone said 26 days before the election. So 26 days before the election. Excuse me, 26 days before election. And we got a hurricane. Well, actually, two hurricanes that just touched down. One today was, I guess, hit Florida. So it's really bad out there as far as the weather. And my heart goes out to everybody. I've heard a lot of stories and survival stories. I've seen videos, and it don't look good. It don't look good, and I wouldn't wish that on nobody. Let's get that out the way. The FEMA, which is a government program for hurricanes and natural disasters, is down there trying to help. And I hear this from you have Republican governors and Democrat governors saying that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing a good job, and FEMA is doing a good job. So they're all giving them props. Now, here's the thing. Here's my thing. You have to understand this. When there's a natural disaster, the government can't blanket and can't touch everything at the same time. There's going to be a process. Things have to be, some things they can just, okay, yeah, let's do this. But when you're dealing with the government, things has to be laid out so they know they are doing the right thing. It's a business. The government is one of the biggest businesses in America. With the army, the navy, they employ more people than anybody, any business. So the government, and not mention government workers. So the government is no doubt a business. So when things like this happen, yes, money is set aside, but it still has to be allocated. That's like with anything. You're not gonna just be like throwing out money because they do that sometimes. Sometimes the government just throws out money and the wrong people, it gets into the wrong people's hands, and then they spending it and scamming and all the other shit. You know what I'm saying, on the government. So they have to be careful, especially when you're dealing with things like this. And there's still gonna be some scams. Let's be real. Some people are gonna find ways to scam and do get money off of these things. So it's just crazy. But lately, there has been some conspiracy theory, quote unquote. There has been some untrue things that are being thrown out there. Now you'd be like, "Well, Johnny, why would you say untrue things?" Because when they talking about the government started the hurricane to only hit like red states and states that didn't vote for Joe Biden. Like that's insane. Like I've never seen Joe Biden ever be biased to somebody just because they didn't vote for him. That's not even like his trait. That's why it came off so crazy to me because I'm following these candidates, and that's not even something that's Joe Biden's trait is to not fuck with somebody because they're on the other side of the aisle. That's just not gonna happen. So, like something like that, that's to me, that's first of all, it's a conspiracy theory. Who can create weather? A hurricane, and then create a hurricane that's gonna hit the right spot that they want. Like that's some real deep shit, and it's just crazy. But what we're going to talk about today is there's a guy, and the video may start. There's a guy who's not accepted any of the government help because of the lies that's being told.
Is pushing back on the disinformation and conspiracy theories Donald Trump and his allies continue to spread in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene and now around Hurricane Milton. In an email to his constituents yesterday, Congressman Edwards, who represents Western North Carolina ravaged by the flooding after Helene, wrote this, quote, These conspiracy theories, while certainly frustrating, have done more harm than most people may realize. The spreading of falsehoods has diverted state, local, and federal resources from helping NC-11, his district, recover toward refuting hearsay and repeatedly trying to set the record straight. Congressman Edwards went on to write that it is disappointing to have to spend an email dispelling the outlandish.
Now here's my thing. If you're trying to run for president, like, why? I don't understand, like, some of these things, like, why would you stir up, like, trouble? Like, to me, that's sort of like an open book. Like, we know what you're trying to do. Like, this is what you have done. Like, natural disasters, since I was little, we always came together. Any disaster as a country. And it wasn't no bickering, not in the beginning, maybe at the end. But this is crazy and unheard of. So now you're going to hear about a man who didn't even want no help from FEMA, even though he needs help because he's listening to Donald Trump. Take a listen.
Rumors being spread online about Hurricane Helene response and recovery. Meanwhile, a North Carolina man is blaming former President Trump for his father-in-law's refusal to get help from FEMA. A man identifying himself as Anthony called into the Dan Abrams show on Sirius XM saying his father-in-law in Asheville only believes the former president, and it is actually breaking up our family.
Sorry for the echo, y'all. I had to redo something, but I'm going to rewind a little bit so y'all can hear.
My father-in-law lives just outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and he was badly damaged by Hurricane Helene. And he has refused all FEMA help because he's a hardcore Trumper. And he literally believes that if he accepts anything from FEMA, they're going to take his house. I don't understand how so many people are under the spell of this freaking con man. I don't understand it.
Well, it's absolutely heartbreaking about your father-in-law. I'm so sorry to hear it. I hope.
Man, it's hard to even imagine it. I mean, he lost almost everything, and he's refusing all help from the federal government and complaining to us that he doesn't have food, that he doesn't have the stuff he needs, and yet he won't accept the help. What the hell are we supposed to do? We're not in a position to be able to fly across the country and help him. Yeah. There's people begging us to get him to accept help, and he won't do it.
Wow.
And I guarantee you, I'm not the only one. I guarantee you, I'm not the only one.
That's crazy. That's crazy right there. For real.
I wish there was something I could say as to, sure you could send him some information on this.
We've done all of that. We've done all of that. We've sent him all the FEMA bulletins. We've sent him all the stuff from the fact checkers. He doesn't believe it. He thinks it's all, he just believes Trump. Literally, Dan, it's a cult. He's a cult member. I'm sorry to say it. He's a cult member. And he's my father-in-law, and it sucks.
Just one story there after the storm. Joining us now, longtime political strategist, our good friend Mike Murphy. Mike, it's great to have you here. You've been in the Republican political game for a long time.
We now say racket, but yes,
the racket.
Yes,
okay,
really,
I'll let you say
it. It went from a game to a racket, which is why I'm so infuriated. But go ahead.
So let's talk about the racket then. It used to be that the kind of stuff we're hearing from Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump was the guy at the end of the bar. He had a conspiracy theory he wanted to tell you about, and you can kind of laugh him off, and there were dark corners of the internet where it lived. But now it's been elevated to the center of the political discourse. The guy who was president and wants to be again is elevating all this stuff.
Right. In the old days, we'd have the little kook wing that would bark at the moon, everybody, Now, they've been encouraged, they've been put on steroids to get front and center. And again, the old method was people knew this is serious business, let alone a hurricane. So, oh, no, we don't do that. Now we've got a ringmaster saying, you step right up. Let's hear more about space lasers. That is the fundamental shift, tragically, in our politics now. There's no policing, no shame, no curation. It's just bring the freak show up and put it, and people believe it. And with the internet, you can send anything around for free. You don't need to be responsible enough to get a job and buy some stamps to write a nutty letter. Now you hit send. So here we are. We have reality show politics. Stakes couldn't be higher, and the content of it couldn't be more depressing.
I mean, we had the President of the United States from the White House yesterday having to look down the barrel of the camera and say the government cannot engineer hurricanes, let alone target them to red states or counties that support Donald Trump. I guess the good news, Mike, is that the governors and that congressman we heard from there, because of the stakes and how serious this storm is and the people who are suffering, have stepped into that void.
Yeah, there are a few grown-ups left trying to say, not enough. They're outnumbered. But hopefully truth will rise above. The very fact we're in this battle now is absolutely crazy. I mean, look, elections are full of, one of my favorite quotes is Bismarck used to say, the greatest lies in life are told before the marriage, after the hunt, and during the election. But this is a hurricane. This is life and death. And these games are being played. So, yeah, it's disgusting, and hopefully people will reject it.
And Mike, certainly some Republican governors, including Governor DeSantis, trying to take the politics out of the storm, in response and saying, look, the federal government is giving us what we need. But it is going to be a backdrop of the campaign. We're under 4 weeks now until Election Day. Let's get just your snapshot as to where you things stand. The polls are relatively even. There's some
So we're going to end it there. Let me know what y'all think about this report. I think it's crazy. I think it's insane. But let me know what y'all think about it. And what would you do in a situation like this? How would you handle it? Because we may all face a natural disaster sometime in our life. Some of us have already. But we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching. My name is Johnny.